Good morning, vinyl community. It is Glen Kellaway from the basement. Normally, I do my weekly wrap up on Monday mornings. I'm still going to do that, but I think it's important, for me at least, to give my thoughts and a bit of a review on the George Harrison All Things Must Pass set based on the 8 LP vinyl set. Now, I'm just going to I'm going to do my wrap up after I finish the All Things Must Pass. So, anybody who's a fan of the wrap up, stay tuned. It's coming. Um, this set is causing a lot of controversy and debate in the music community. First off, I'll start with Bobby Whitlock. If I don't know how many of you watched Bobby's video and his thoughts on this set. If you haven't, I urge you to do so. Bobby hates it. His wife Coco, who was around at the time, at one point she was married to Delaney Bramlett. So obviously, I bow to their careers and their resumes. Love Bobby Whitlock. Nothing but respect for the man's music, and I own so many albums that he was on, and just worship the guy. No problem. So this is nothing personal against Bobby, but when I watched that video, I felt that he was over the top with his negative comments, and his wife was too. She seemed to be egging him on. I was on live chat yesterday with the Canadian Stud Muffin and Paul from Fit to Be Tied and Doc Dawkins. And Paul and I kind of had differing opinions on Bobby Whitlock's comments. He felt Bobby had a right to be pissed, and he rightly so. I mean, he was kind of ignored when all this was being put together. And yeah, so and Universal kind of sent him a cease and desist order on showing, talking about any of the digital files that he'd been sent ahead of the release. So he was insulted and pissed off, and that's fine. I agree with Paul on that. He may have had something, but I think he had an agenda. Some people think not, that it was all genuine. I'm sorry, that's my personal opinion. So take it with a grain of salt. First, let me say this is so subjective. We all hear with our own ears. We all have certain sound systems. We all have certain instruments, the bass level, the treble, whatever, the highs, the mids, the lows that affect us on a personal level, the way we hear music. So all these are my thoughts. You guys hate it, that's fine. I don't hate it. So, but I find it hard to believe. I just find it hard to understand how someone can just say, "Yeah, it sucks." They hate it because it's all over the place. It reminds me of the John Lennon "Give Me Some Truth" set that came out last year. There are some songs that were just horribly massacred, and some songs they improved. It's all over the place, and this set is exactly the same. I'm just going to go through. I don't want to go through 30 songs, but I'm going to go through a few of them and just say what one I prefer. But generally speaking, I like the remix. It will get played in my house. I got no problem with it whatsoever. I love the original too. I can love them both. I don't have to hate one or the other. Okay, so it starts off with "I'd Have You Anytime." Great song. Definitely the vocals. Just first thing you notice is the vocals are more up front, and it's more bass heavy for sure. The electric guitar sounds great in it. I didn't have a problem with that. Bobby was saying you can't. It's just a big mess. You can't hear it. I can hear the instruments, but I have no preference. I don't mind the remix, and I love the original. This is a great album. So yeah, it's a wash as far as I'm concerned. "My Sweet Lord," yeah. Acoustic guitars sound really muffled or something. There's something weird about the acoustics, and that's a big part of the song. But I think like this little slide guitar parts sound fine. The vocals, I guess they're a little more up in the mix. The background vocals with the Hare Krishnas and all that, it sounds fine to me. But the original's definitely better, definitely. So we're kind of batting 500 here. Wah wah. This is a sonic mess. This song. This song is a big noisy mess on the original, and it is on the remix. Um, there's no dynamics at all in the remix, and this is one where I could see if Bobby was listening to this and he went, "This all sucks." If you base it on this song, I might agree. So definitely the original. Isn't it a pity? I've listened to this like 3 or 4 times, and I'm listening, going, "Is there something I should complain about this?" I keep listening, going, "What am I missing here?" And I couldn't hear anything I was missing in the remix, so I gave it a wash. Side two, "What Is Life?" It's another one. It had more of a wall of sound, there's just more going on, and it's just it's a bit of a mess too. I think either one doesn't matter. If Not For You is the next song. I love George's. That's why I made the point of saying I love George's vocal on the remix. So I'm going with If Not For You. They really did a good job moving his vocals a bit up front on that. Behind That Locked Door, vocals are great. Pete Drake's steel guitar is still prominent in it. Bass is more prominent. It's a wash. It doesn't offend me in any way, the remix. Let It Down. There's a part in this song where it goes, "You look so sweetly and divine." There's a little section of brass that comes in and plays a little background part or something in it. I noticed it in the remix, and I've never noticed it in the original. It sounded really cool to me. That's what I like about remixes of old albums, is the fact that they can bring little nuances out that maybe weren't available with the technology to bring them out, or maybe just the way they mastered it or mixed it. But that just that one little part. It's funny when I'm listening to music, all of a sudden I just need to hear one little thing I haven't heard before, and my ears perk up, which I like. So I'm gonna say I prefer the remix. Okay, Run of the Mill. I put down 5 stars for the remix. Well, it's one of my favorite songs on the remix. The guitar intro, great separation in the music. George's vocal, they nailed this one. That's what I put down. Run of the Mill. Beware of Darkness. Between the remix and that, it's kind of a wash. There's really no different. I prefer the remix, but because I think George's vocals are a little more up front. You can actually hear a couple of songs on All Things Must Pass. It's hard to make out the lyrics if you're not looking at a lyric sheet, and that's one thing I like, is now I can kind of make out lyrics I couldn't make out before. Apple Scruffs. The acoustics sound very soft in this on the remix, which I like. George's vocals are great. There's this little click clack percussive thing going on in the back that I never noticed in the original, that is brought up into the remix. Again, I like that kind of thing. Ballad of Frankie Crisp. Okay, this one was interesting, mostly because of the vocals. There's a background chant going on in this song, and I think they say, "Oh, Sir Frankie Crisp, oh, Sir." It's almost like a chant, and it is raised up in the mix, and I think it sounds great. I love that. So I prefer the remix just for that. Made it more interesting. Awaiting on You All. This is one of my favorite songs on the album. I did a favorite George Harrison song thing a few months ago, solo songs, and I picked Awaiting on You All as my favorite. At the time it was, everything changes. It is also a bit of a mess. It's busy, man. It's like that on the original. I like George's vocals on here being up front. Easier to make out the lyrics, like I said, and I prefer the remix. All Things Must Pass is a wash to me. Beautiful song. Okay, the crowning jewel, if there is one, of the remixes is I Dig Love on side 4. It is the best of the remixes. The bass and drum intro is awesome. George's vocals are great. Separation of the instruments is fantastic. This is the best of the best. The rest of them, Art of Dying, Isn't It a Pity, Hear Me Lord, they're all kind of a wash, or they're fine. I don't know. So overall, I'm giving this a thumbs up. I'm joining my friends like MeanMrMayo, Joe, and yeah, I don't know. I know I'm gonna probably have a few negative comments over this, but I'm sorry. It's overall, I like it. I'm gonna enjoy listening to it, and you guys can all form your own opinions, and I'd be more than happy to hear your comments. Thanks so much. And now, the weekly wrap-up, featuring Glenn from the basement. This is episode number 31. Okay, first of all, congratulations to Glen Kellaway from the basement for reaching 500 subs. How's that? I'm really proud of that. That's very cool. It happened last night. So, very cool. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. I made so many friends in the VC. And any new subscribers, I hope I'm worthy of your subscription to my channel. I always start the week off with contests. First of all, it's all about me this week. I won a contest this week. I collect stuff. My friend Alexander from Sweden, I won his contest. Yeah, hold on a second. This lady's screaming at me. Yeah, I won his contest. I won the Herman Stone 45 for suggesting the best summer listening record to him. Turns out I've turned Alexander into a parrot head. I suggested Jimmy Buffett's Changes in Latitude, Changing in Attitude album, which I think is a great album. And he loved it and has become a Jimmy Buffett fan. So who knew? There's Alexander in Sweden is a parrot head. Number two, my great friend. I've made so many good friends in the VC. One of the best ones is Randy Nelson. I love Randy so much. He's just a great guy. We communicate all the time, and I can't say enough good things about him. One of the nicest guys I think I've ever run across in my entire life. Randy surpassed 200 subs, so congratulations, Randy. If anybody out here who's watching is not a subscriber to Randy's channel, please go. It's under Randall Nelson. He did a contest celebrating 200 subs called Let's Travel, because Randy's a world traveler. He's been to over 40 countries. Let's see, I've been to England, Canada, and the U.S. I think that's it. Bahamas count as a country. I've been there too. 4? That's it. Okay. So Randy asked, it was all based on travel. Show a record from your hometown, show an album about your hometown, show an album about your favorite destination or whatever. So pretty cool. Subscribe. $75 gift certificate. Very generous gift for the winner. So go check it out. Randall Nelson. Videos. Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Red Rum Records, Beth. Beth gave kind of a farewell video this week. She said she's going to take some time away from the VC. She's kind of disillusioned with the way the violent community has gone, and she said she likened it to a grade 2 show and tell, and she wasn't being. When I say that, it makes it sound like she was being miserable or something. She wasn't at all. Beth's a wonderful woman. That was just her analogy, and. Yeah, so Beth, wish you all the best. I hope you come back. And I'm not quite sure she's wrong, but I'm not sure what's wrong with that either. Like, I like show and tell. I liked it when I was in grade 2. I still like it. And keep showing your records and talking about them. I was going to mention the All Things Must Pass video, Bobby Whitlock. Make sure you go check this out. It's crazy. Matt Street did a video with his thoughts on receiving the 5 CD Blu-ray set. Matt wasn't happy with the packaging and the goodies inside, the pamphlet as he called it, instead of a book. I tend to agree. If that's one Negative thing I totally agree on is that I think they missed the boat on the CD deluxe package. Should have been the size of like a record and included the hardcover book and give you the 5 CDs and the Blu-ray. I mean, it's not cheap. It's 100, and, it's bordering on $200, and I think people deserve that. That's disappointing. MeanMrMayo, he gave his opinions on listening to the set, and he gave it a big thumbs up and said it's going to be his definitive version to listen to now. So I'm cool with that, Joe. I got no problem with that, buddy. I mentioned I was on Canadian Stud Muffin. Go check it out. We had a lot of fun, man. I just love all those guys. Doc Dawkins, Paul from Fit to be Tied, and myself, and Larry Graves, the Canadian Stud Muffin. It's on Larry's channel under the Canadian Stud Muffin. We have so much fun, and people jump on board and they ask questions and they comment, and we kibitz back and forth and cut each other up and tell jokes, and it's really enjoyable couple hours. Larry, thanks so much for allowing me to be a part of that. I really appreciate it. Saturday morning, driving around, yard sale sign. What's a record guy do but go and see if there's any records? I drive up. It's in a vacant lot, and there's a few tables around. And the first guy, as soon as I get it, my wife says, "Oh, there's some records there in a little plastic crate, right?" And I went, "Oh, cool." So I get out of the car, and the guy greets me, and I immediately go over the records. And the first thing I see is Pulp Fiction. He goes, "Oh, that's a Laserdisc." I went, "Okay." So the records are behind. So I pull out the records, and the first one I see is John Prine's Pink Cadillac, which I don't have on vinyl, and I've been looking for it. Cover looked good. I pick it up, and the guy immediately says to me, he says, people drive up here and they look at the records, and he says, after taking them out of the sleeve all day long, I go home with a bunch of scratched records. So at this point, I've already pulled the record out of the sleeve, and he goes, "See, you're doing it too." And I went, "Well, how do you buy a used record without looking at it to make sure it's playable?" He's going, "Well, if you go to Walmart, you don't open the records." I'm going, "Yeah, but they're new." So anyway, as soon as I pulled the thing out of the sleeve just a bit, the first track has a gouge right down the front of it, like it wouldn't play in a million years. No, you couldn't clean it. It was a damaged record. But he insisted that I wasn't allowed to look at his records. I just had to buy them. I went, "Sorry, buddy." And I just drove off. But what a weird attitude about records. I can see maybe standing there watching over somebody, make sure they're handling them properly. But man, I have something written down I was going to talk about, and I'm not sure if I should, because unfortunately it's gone political. But the vaccine. So please get vaccinated. It's not about you. It's about all of us. I mean, really, don't fall on this sword. It's just not the right sword to fall on. Look at what's going on now, man. Anybody who's unvaccinated, 95% of the people who are getting this COVID are unvaccinated. Come on, I don't know what stations you're watching and who you're following, but please stop it. Mazzy put up a post on his Instagram page last week one day. It was a screenshot from a CNN news thing saying about the vaccination. And I responded, because I think it's going to happen, that anti-vaxxers are going to become the modern day lepers. I think people who are vaccinated don't want to have anything to do with them, and they're going to be put in not a real physical colony, but a mental colony. And that's just the way it's going to go. And I personally am of the opinion that there should be vaccine passports, and people who aren't vaccinated just don't have the same freedoms. They just don't. So I hope that doesn't piss too many of my followers off, but we'll find out if I dip below 500 after this video. Anyway, that's it for this week. I am really enjoying my All Things Must Pass set. I'm going to keep listening to it this week. I haven't played all the demos yet, so I'll probably do some kind of a video on the demos. I've only listened to a couple of the records. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thank you for helping me get to 500 subscribers. I love you all. Peace out. Have a great day.